The Batfoot Podcast is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Batfoot Podcast. Damian, Matt, and David here. First time we were together in 2 months. All three of us on the same episode. Look back December 15th. It is February 16th. So, hey guys, how you guys been?
Good.
All right.
You feeling better? You feeling better?
I was dying. All right. That was not good. I got influenza A and had 103 fever for 4 days. Could not eat or drink anything. Do not recommend to any singular person on the planet Earth. Even San Diego Padre fans. Don't recommend it to them. Don't wish it on them. We have a jammed packed episode this week. Spring training's here. Full squad workouts are starting tomorrow. We have games on Saturday, so that's going to be exciting. And that has led to 60-day IL spots being opened. The typical, like, every player comes into spring training and decides it wants to just die all of a sudden. Random signings, trades. It's been a bonanza over the last 2 weeks or so. So any first thoughts before we jump into this?
It's exciting. Baseball's back.
Yep. Same here. We've been waiting for it for a while now. It's coming. So we get the tease of it. I love the start of spring training because baseball's coming. But then you watch the first couple of spring training games, all excited to be watching baseball, and you're like, "Oh my god, I don't want to watch this." So it's just kind of a tease that it's coming. But I'm ready. I'm excited for opening day and for the big league season to start back up. It's been a long off season. So.
Yeah, it's been. So let's start with the trades section of the show, and. The first one is a little smaller deal. It was Arizona and Baltimore lining up for relief pitcher Kade Strowd going to Arizona for utility man Blaze Alexander. This is partially due to what we'll talk about here in a little bit, but an injury to Jackson Holliday and Jordan Westberg. So the Orioles needing some infield depth at the time. Pretty simple, fair, easy deal. Like bench utility guy for bullpen guy. Pretty simple, right?
Super simple. Yep. Maybe the
Pretty
easiest
simple.
and most obvious trade move we're going to talk about today, right? Like value-wise, this is good. Makes sense. They need it.
Most likely.
We move on.
So don't go into the next trade is a trade that is not one that makes sense value-wise or makes sense in any realm of the possibility. And that is the Boston Red Sox acquiring Caleb Durbin, Andrew Monasterio, Anthony Siegler, and Comp B for Kyle Harrison and Shane Drone.
Yeah.
This now means that Boston has traded every single piece of the Rafael Devers trades, I believe, except not Bayo. What's the one pitcher they got back? Not Hicks, but they got another like minor league or fringe major league piece. Outside of that, everyone's traded.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a weird trade.
Yeah.
Throwing the pick in there, the comp pick in there was kind of the big thing. For me, I mean, the swap's not that bad to me. I'm not a huge Caleb Durbin believer long term, but throwing a comp pick in there and that's going to be a draft pick is not wise in my opinion.
This was Milwaukee's entire third base depth chart on Fangraphs. All three of them were the guys that Milwaukee had penciled in. What are they going to do now? They haven't made a move yet to this point, but we'll probably talk about it later. But yeah, this is real odd for the Brewers. Typically they've done this already this offseason, right? Trade away Isaac Collins after one good year, traded away Caleb Durbin for one good year. It's a little bit strange how they keep dumping off these guys. I think Durbin had a really good plate approach. Thought he was a potential Gold Glove type guy. Seemed like a really good quality player. But the comp pick especially is what's really awkward. And yeah, I mean they're getting Kyle Harrison, but Harrison was not good with the Red Sox. I don't know. I don't believe much in this move from Milwaukee's perspective. And Boston gets that infielder they were craving, I think, for a pretty light price.
Yeah, it's a weird one because the Durbin trade came after, which we'll talk about, is them signing IKF as well, to kind of be some of that infield depth there. So Durbin is interesting because then it kind of was like, well, where's Mayer going to play, or Story? Are you going to is Rafaela still going to play some infield so you can have all three outfielders still out there at times? It was very weird. Harrison is someone who he struggled with the Red Sox, but a team's going to figure him out. It's going to be someone like the Brewers. He's a former top 20 prospect at times, so he has prospect pedigree. They'll probably find some way to make him work out, and he'll haunt David for the next 15 years because he's not great or something. But it was a very weird move, and not like something you were really expecting to kind of be the value wise there.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing. Durbin's baseball savant page is atrocious.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely atrocious. And I think the Brewers value that pretty highly. So, I don't know if his value around the league was quite what, putting up 2.6 WAR in your first full big league season would tell you. I don't think there's a lot of believers in him long term.
I struggle mightily to say this young player is who he is now based on one season. I think you can't do that. You have to let guys develop and gain. Even if he's not a power hitting guy that's going to blow the exit velocities off the charts, he can still be an effective Major League Baseball player, and was last year already with very little experience. I think there's a lot of players grow into those numbers, get better power as they age. And that's where I'm like, if Caleb Durbin grows into a little power, he's got a good plate approach. He makes good contact, already. Those are things he does well. The things he does well are the things that, the guy had 30% strikeout rate or something. Matt would have said, well, he swings and misses too much. I'm like, some guys have good talent. Durbin has that. Do I think he's he was the most valuable third baseman we've been talking about over the last 2 weeks? No. Paredes was on the market. Matt Shaw was still available. They're better third base options, but Durbin is a young, interesting piece. Yeah. And then you also get the pick. You also get the bench guys like Monasterio and Siegler for, your SP7 on your depth chart, maybe SP8 if you're the Red Sox. No brainer deal.
I think my problem is that you did Durbin and IKF.
Yeah.
You do one or the other, because you got Monasterio, you got Siegler, so those kind of are your depth guys anyways. It just doing both kind of doesn't make a ton of sense there.
Feels like they knee-jerked into IKF, and then this came together while they were talking other bigger names where IKF would have been the bench guy.
Yeah. And savant pages also typically hate contact-oriented guys too, so that's basically what Durbin is. But
I think the worry with him is just that he's a low strikeout guy, but he never walks, and he's going to have to grow into power for him to continue to hit well in the big leagues. But we'll see. It's hard to be down on a young player, and he had a great rookie year. I mean, he was a 2.5 win player as a rookie, which is awesome. So
I will say, before we move on, if Isaac Collins and Caleb Durbin do not pan out at all, no one's going to be trading for hotshot Brewers rookies anymore after this season.
Right.
If both of them are terrible away from the Brewers, they won't get any more value. So they might be maximizing it while they can here. But I like both guys. I think both guys are pretty interesting players and should be perfectly fine in their new homes.
Yep. All right, another small deal. LA and the Twins came together on trading Anthony Banda to the Twins for some international bonus pool money. Another one of those Blaze Alexander, Kade Strowd. Simple, easy.
Cool.
Yep. Toronto and Houston, which was a very interesting deal. Toronto acquires Jesus Sanchez, and Houston reacquires Joey Loperfido, who they traded for. What was that deal?
Kikuchi.
That's Kikuchi.
That is. Sanchez was a guy they targeted at the deadline last year, and he never really panned out there. Now they get Loperfido back, and Toronto gets another corner outfielder in Sanchez to help play as a left-handed bat there.
Matt Sanchez is one of your guys, man. He hits the ball really hard. He's got to have really, really bright red exit velocities on the StatCast page.
Yeah, Sanchez has always been one of those guys that is you feel like is probably better than he he's shown, but he chases a lot too. So, his StatCast page is fine. I think he's better than he's played, especially last year. But 2023 he put up a 780 OPS. I mean, it's not like he's always been bad. He's got some talent. It's just a matter of he needs to walk a little bit more and he needs to chase a little bit less. And I don't think it's a bad pickup. And I'm not. Joey Loperfido had a really interesting year last year as a young player who really had an incredible stat line as a rookie. It was really good, but he had like a 440 batting average on balls in play or something. So I just don't, I'm just not a huge believer in that. But I don't think his hit tool's that great. He's had a high strikeout rate in the minor leagues for most of his time there. I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's worth taking a chance on Jesus Sanchez, and I don't know that. I think it's worth a risk on Joey Loperfido as well for Houston, who really needs some young players.
Yeah, seems like Houston kind of maybe regretted a little bit going for the Sanchez idea. This is the fourth outfielder for Toronto. It's a guy to stack some righties into a lefty heavy lineup. This is just very much a need for need. Fourth outfielder for fourth outfielder type of move, and I'm sure Loperfido will see some time in the outfield at first base for Houston a little bit, but he's going to be very much a bench guy, given their the lineup that they do have right now. And Sanchez is kind of the same way. He'll play against lefties, and we'll see if he plays his way into more playing time against righties.
All right, so before we jump to the signings real quick, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the YouTube page here. I know if you are looking for it on X today, X is having some issues. It didn't pop up there. It's still on the channel technically, but go over to YouTube, drop a like and subscribe over there. Help us grow the platform. We would appreciate it a lot. So let's jump into the signings now. And we broke the signings up by teams basically, so we can get each team kind of out of the way real quick. So the Diamondbacks signed Carlos Santana to a 1-year, $2 million deal to be their first baseman, most likely. And then Zach Gallen re-signed with the Diamondbacks on a 1-year, $22 million deal. Basically the qualifying offer for Gallen, who I originally had that as my pick, that he was going to sign the qualifying offer, and then you guys talked me out of it. Should have just stuck with it because it's basically the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm. And when his market didn't materialize, it makes a lot. This was the most logical outcome. Yeah. Teams are just not lining up to give Zach Gallen a lot of money and lose the pick.
Yeah. That was the thing about it, was the pick.
Right. Like, I think a lot of teams are interested in giving Zach Gallen, 2 or 3 years to figure it out. But then Zach Gallen's going to want the 1-year opt-out because this is not the zenith of his value. And then, on top of that, you're also paying the pick. So teams are already not like, we're not giving you 1 year. The only team that's going to be interested in giving him 1 year is Arizona. And they're not going to give it for more than the qualifying offer. So them coming to this agreement is the most logical conclusion to that entire saga.
Yeah. For me, Zach Gallen took a very legitimate step back last year. It wasn't really smoke and mirrors that he took a step back. But, he's got a long track record of being really good too, except for last year. So there's a very good shot that he turns it back around. I don't know if he's going to be the 2022 Zach Gallen where he had a 2.54 ERA, but I think he's going to be better than he was last year. And, if he ends up being a 3 starter for the way the market is, that's not a bad deal for the Diamondbacks. And I'm kind of surprised Carlos Santana's playing this year, honestly. He was really bad last year. And, I guess just adding veteran presence that they already have with adding Arenado was something they wanted to do, and it's cheap, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it just offers them a platoon style with Pavin Smith, and then you have some backup with Tyler Locklear, who they acquired in the I think he got injured. So some insurance for when he's ready on a relatively cheap deal anyway. So all right, so we talked a little bit about the IKF to the Red Sox. He signed for 1 year, $6 million with Caleb Durbin deal. Seems weird given that they did both of those. $6 million for IKF late in the offseason also seems like a bit much there. For someone who has not been very good recently, but that's the thing.
Yeah, IKF can't hit, but he can play defense in a lot of positions and run the bases. So he's kind of a perfect bench player.
Can he run the bases though? Because
Yeah,
he didn't really run the. He kind of cost Toronto the World Series there.
Well, he's typically a pretty good base runner, except for in that one play in the World Series. But he stole 15 bases last year in 138 games, and he had positive base. He's had positive base running metrics his whole career. But he's somebody and he plays good defense. He plays a lot of positions. So I mean,
he's very much Trevor Story insurance is what he is. If Trevor Story blows out, you need to have somebody who can play. Meyer probably gets one of the spots. Durbin gets the other, right? Second base, third base. They'll probably won't iron that out in camp. But you don't want to have to shift Meyer over there and then be playing David Hamilton or Romy Gonzalez at second base. Like it's not a great situation defensively for the Red Sox. They need those guys kind of as their backup outfield DH type guys, first base. Yeah. So IKF gives them that defensive upside that they are now lacking since Bregman left.
Yeah. All right, so let's transition to, I think, the most fun little group of stories here, and that is the Detroit Tigers. So we have Framber Valdez signed with the Detroit Tigers on a 3-year, $115 million deal. There is a player option for 2028 and then a mutual option for 2029. Then that came the day before Tarik Skubal's arbitration case came out. And then Skubal ended up winning the arbitration case, so he got his $32 million from the Tigers, which is like the biggest raise ever for between year 2 to 3. Then they decided to round out the rotation by just signing old friend Justin Verlander to a 1-year, $13 million deal. And this is a cool one too, because Verlander deferred $11 million of that. So it's only like a 2-year, $2 million deal anyways, there for the guy who spent, 12 seasons or 13 seasons, something like that. Won MVP, obviously Cy Young. So the Tigers have Framber, Skubal, Verlander as a rotation now. And then they also signed Austin Slater as an outfield depth piece. But David, what do you think about Framber and then the ensuing moves?
I love that the Tigers are getting aggressive and spending some money, because remember when we heard the news regarding Skubal's arbitration case, we were pretty critical of the Tigers ownership and because they weren't providing the money, and it was very well, if you're not going to pay Skubal $30 million, you were saying trade him, and I was saying, well, you need to be spending money to go improve on Tarik Skubal. He's good, but
I agree with that.
Right. And this is what they finally did. And Skubal won the ARB case, which I love. It's almost feels rewarding for the Tigers for dedicating some money to the future team. I mean, it gives you certainly an opportunity to get in the door with Skubal on a, maybe it's still an expensive deal, but maybe it's more of a hometown deal than taking like $500 million from the Dodgers next offseason or something like that. Like, he's certainly going to be a little more amenable after, receiving this money, but even still, right? This is a World Series type team, right? You have to go win the World Series this year. You got the best pitcher in baseball. You got one of the best rotations in baseball now with these additions. You've spent the money. It's time. They're going to be a real threat. Got young players coming up. They're going to have ammo at the trade deadline. I love the Valdez move. I think he's paid appropriately, high AAV, low years, whatever. Verlander's a 5-starter at this point, but he's very good in that role. He was good last year for the Giants in that role. And he's got a lot of experience. It's probably his swan song year, right? Like,
he's got to be, right?
Got to be the retirement tour, right? So, send him out on a high note. I love the Tigers this season. Think they're going to be really good. And this group of signings really nailed it down. Before this point, I would have said, I don't know if the Tigers are really the favorites to win the AL Central. And now I do. I think they are easily the favorites to win the AL Central.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Framber Valdez edition. Framber Valdez is almost about as safe as you'll ever find a starting pitcher to be what he is, which is like a solid 2-starter. Like, he's not going to ever put up like a 2 flat ERA and like put up Tarik Skubal numbers in a season. He doesn't have that upside, but like, he's gonna be a mid-3s, low-3s ERA who, if he has a little bit of luck some years, maybe in the upper 2s. Like, he's a really good pitcher, and adding him to that rotation is great. And then Justin Verlander was pretty good last year. He was a little bit of a ballpark merchant out in San Francisco, but guess where you need to go if you're a ballpark merchant?
Detroit.
America. Yeah, it's like that. That is, I mean, the home run per fly ball rate was really low for him last year, and that's kind of been his Achilles heel late in his career, has been the home run ball. But I think that going to Comerica, they'll suppress home runs there just like they do in maybe not quite like they do in San Francisco, but close to it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is a really, really fun team now.
Yeah.
I still think they're missing a little bit offensively.
I do too.
I would like them to go get some sort of another bat. You know, I had them wanting them to get Bregman this offseason. But that's something that you might be able to do for cheap at the rental deadline market if you guys are pushing for it. So, but like you said, I was very critical of this team. If you're not going to pay Skubal, then trade him, right? But I was always in favor of they should pay him, and then they should go get other people. So this is good to finally see them doing that. And I'll eat my little bit of crow here by saying Skubal was going to get traded at the deadline and all that. Like, I don't think that happens now, but you know, this is what you had to do.
Yeah. And
I want to note that I think Kevin McGonigal and Josue Briseño are they're two prospects that are high up here. I think they might not need the offense. The offense might come from within.
I was just about to say that they don't have like a surefire answer offensively, but there's a world where one or both of those guys work out and end up really being key players for them this year offensively. And because kind of what they're missing, I think right now is like as good as Riley Green can be, like they don't really have just a masher in there really. I mean, Kerry Carpenter against righties can be that sometimes, but he's a platoon guy. Spencer Torkelson has power, but he's not super consistent. He had a good year last year, but I think they need a couple of they need one or two 850 OPS types to be a true World Series favorite to challenge the Dodgers, and I don't think they have that right now. But you know, it's possible that one of those guys could be that. So I think that's definitely something to look out for with the Tigers.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple bullpen deals, but we'll get with the Angels first. They signed Brent Suter to a 1-year, $1.25 million deal. I am still so surprised that Suter gets like these cheap deals after he's usually pretty decent. Like I know last year was pretty bad, but before that, like he had like 5 years of like a 3 ERA, and he just doesn't ever sign for big money, basically.
It's a velocity problem. He just
and last year he was in Cincinnati and it wasn't very good. But like the Angels are also just building out this like old but veteran bullpen that are solid at times.
It's a good move. Yeah, I like it. You know, they need guys. The Angels do, and I like the Angels offseason. I think it's been pretty solid. Maybe between like acquiring Grayson Rodriguez, the pitching staff is going to be much improved. And then you got Mike Maddox.
Yeah,
I mean, overall it's good. I don't think Brent Suter in particular is like all that impactful, but he'll eat some innings out of the bullpen for him. He'll strike out some lefties. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I would like their offseason if they were a team that was kind of on the contention borderline, but I don't like it because they're so far from it. Their team still stinks. And they've just added pieces for what? They stink. So, I mean, you know, it's hard to be critical of a team for adding major league pieces and everything, but like they would have to have literally everything go right to have a shot at the playoffs. And it's not, I don't know. I'm not a big
believer, saying there's a chance.
I mean,
adding pieces means you can trade those pieces. That's why I'm always
true.
Add pieces. You need to get better.
Yeah, I mean, true, but it's just I don't know. I mean, it's not a multi-year. You know, most of these deals were not like multi-year deals. That's what will handicap them is if they sign a bunch of 4-year contracts that like they're going to have a hard time trading off of, and you know have to take on risk. So.
And a couple other little pieces of Angel news while we're here. We just wrap this up. They did sign Jamer Candelario to a minor league deal as well to potentially be a third baseman for them. And then it was noted today that Mike Trout is now back playing center field. He will no longer play right field, and he prefers not to DH, obviously. So he said that the corner outfield felt like it had more running to him than center field. So just please stay healthy, Mike, whatever you do.
I played outfield. That ain't true.
Adele.
Who was playing center? Well, if Adele was playing center field, he probably did have to run more to get anything in the right center field gap. Trout had to go get it.
Trout DH'd most of the time last year, though.
He was hurt a lot of the time too.
I understand him not liking that, but
yeah,
I don't know if he's a center fielder at this point.
Yeah, at this point, Trout to me is kind of like Byron Buxton. It's like if he gets hurt, he's gonna get hurt probably, but play him in his best position and let him do his thing while he's healthy. Because it seems to not really matter if you DH him or play him in right field or play him in center field. He continues to get hurt, and he doesn't. I mean, I don't think he performs nearly as well when he's DHing. You can tell there's some guys who just when they're not fully engaged in the entire game, they just struggle with it. And I do think that's something that Mike Trout's dealt with the last couple of years because his offensive numbers have gone down pretty substantially.
Yeah.
And obviously he is getting older. The swing and miss has gone way up. I think that playing, just kind of doing his thing he's always done will help him as long as he's healthy. So I think he wants to take that chance and just say, hey, I'm just going to play. And if I get hurt, I get hurt.
Yeah. All right. The A's have made a couple moves as well, signing Scott Barlow to be their closer and then signing Aaron Savali to be a part of that rotation. Both are 1-year deals. Barlow was 1 year, $2 million. Savali was one for $7.5 million. So David, I know you really liked both of these moves, really.
I did, but I liked Savali was a demon down the stretch for the Cubs, man. He was nasty. That's a really good option to insert into your rotation. He obviously wanted a starting role. I think the Cubs would have been really, really content to bring him in as like a non-roster invite, but like he got a starting job, and for $8 million, that's a pretty good number. So he's certainly a 100% a trade deadline flip piece. Where you end up with a somewhat interesting prospect because maybe he's one of the better arms available on the cheap, right? So I love this deal for the A's, and I think Savali's after last year. I mean, he made some adjustments and came back after some ineffective time with the Rays, which wildly enough, right? He was ineffective with the Rays, but he was effective everywhere else. So I think that guy's gonna figure it out and be successful next year.
Yeah, I don't totally hate this. I mean, the A's just needed to add starting pitchers. I mean, they really need some help there. But I think Savali's a terrible fit for that ballpark. He's a guy that's always
a terrible fit for that ballpark.
That's true, but Savali's the guy that gives up a lot of fly balls, and playing in a bigger ballpark it would really help him. And I don't think that playing in Sacramento is very good for him. But Barlow's a little bit the same way. He's a kind of a home run guy too. That he gets some swing and miss, but that can be a problem for him. So I'd like that the A's are adding pitchers. And honestly, the A's just needed to add more big league pitchers at that. I mean, they just Aaron Savali is a much better guy to throw in there than some of the pieces that they were talking about. Like, I mean, I haven't even heard of half of their pitching staff that's in the minor leagues that are like non-roster invites and stuff. They do have a pretty good amount of people at AAA, but they're we'll see what happens with it. They just needed to make big league pitchers though. At the end of the day,
it's gonna be interesting. All right, next one. Paul Goldschmidt returned to the Yankees on a 1 year, $4 million deal. Probably to platoon with Ben Rice again, I would assume, at first base. Fine deal. He had a 103 WRC plus last year, about a win above replacement.
Keep tacking them counting stats, Goldie. Make that
in there, Goldie.
Stronger.
He's gonna be right on the borderline.
Yeah. How far away is he from like 300 homers or 200 hits or whatever?
He's at 372 homers.
Got to get 28 more to get to
400. He's at 57.3 WAR.
I think he's right. He's right close to getting in.
If he can put up like 2 more seasons, and
if he gets 400 homers, I think he's in.
400 homers and 60 WAR, I think will get him in.
But it'll be close for that. I mean, he's 38 this year, so
he's got his MVP.
Yeah,
it's gonna be right there.
All right, so the Mets made a couple moves. One is signing MJ Melendez to a 1 year, $1.5 million deal. They also signed today Mike Tauchman. So both of those. And then they are dealing with their own injury issues and stuff. So Francisco Lindor broke his hamate bone. and will be it's going to be close for opening day. He might miss opening day, but be a week or two after that. And then it is also noted that Juan Soto is now moving primarily to left field for the Mets. So, Matt, this is obviously in your division. You have to face this team a lot. So, are you excited for MJ Melendez to be playing right field for the New York Mets?
MJ Melendez had 65 plate appearances last year. He had a negative 14 WRC plus.
Heck yeah.
That is hard to do, honestly. But and he's a guy that's had some interesting, pedigree in his past. He looked like an interesting player for the Royals a few years ago and just had never put it together. So signing him to I can't believe they signed him to a major league deal, honestly. But that's pretty wild. But Mike Tauchman, I thought, was a pretty good signing. I mean, last year he played 93 games for the White Sox. He had a 115 WRC plus. Always is a good on base guy. I think the Mets might be missing a little bit of that after they traded Brandon Nimmo. So having Tauchman in there to help out, be a fourth outfielder, fifth outfielder type guy would be nice for them. As for Soto, I don't think it matters where you stick him defensively. He's terrible at it. He's a great hitter, one of the best hitters we've ever seen, but he's an awful defensive player. So maybe hiding him in left field is a little bit better than hiding him in right field, but you're not hiding him very well either way. He needs to be DHing soon.
That's speed demon Juan Soto. It's 30-30.
I didn't say
Juan
he
Soto.
Run. I said he's terrible at playing the outfield.
He
can
speed
run.
Demon. They're moving him to his natural defensive position for the third time in his career.
What else do you need to be an outfielder outside of then to just run fast?
Oh yeah,
right.
I'm sure.
Just run fast.
But anyways, and then it sucks for Lindor. I hope he gets healthy quick because he's got a handmade bones can be kind of tricky. So hopefully he gets back pretty quick.
Had a lot of the handmade bone stuff this year, as we'll talk about here. Next one, another one for Matt. Marcell Ozuna to the Pirates on a 1-year, $12 million deal. I know at times you were very frustrated with Ozuna through the last year, but he was also playing through an injury. So you think he's a good fit going to Pittsburgh?
It's going to be interesting because, as you mentioned, the injury. The injury was a big thing for him last year. He wasn't able to rotate as well. He had a hip injury, so he still put up pretty good numbers. I mean, he put up a 114 WRC plus. It just zapped his power some. He had a really good on base percentage. He had 16% walk rate last year, which was the best of his career by a pretty good margin. So we'll see if he's able to kind of recover from that injury and have a bounce back year. He's 35 years old. I don't know that Ozuna is ever going to be hitting like he did in 2024 again, but if he puts up a 125 WRC plus, that's a really good player for the Pirates on offensively who desperately need offense. So I like the move for the Pirates, and they've spent a little bit of money this offseason trying to get a little bit better, which is I mean that they're not like I was talking about the Angels. They have the star talent to where if they add some good pieces, they could be good. They just don't ever do it.
I think they officially have a payroll over $100 million. I think it's $101 million.
I know Bob Nutting is like itching.
Yeah.
Wherever he is, he started itching when you said that.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good move for Ozuna. Like you mentioned with the injury issues, but the thing that I think this does mean is that the Braves can DH Acuna some, right? Because he's been dealing with injuries over the last 2 or 3 seasons and hasn't really been able to get back to form. Then they try to trot him out the outfield. He has been kind of declining there too. So I'm hoping what we get out of this deal is a Ronald Acuna in the DH role and get a full season of Acuna kind of back towards that MVP caliber level that we know he can be.
Yeah, I think we see him DH a little bit for
right,
just to try to keep
rotating.
Him fresh. But I think he's maybe once a week because Profar, Yastrzemski.
Yeah,
you got 2. If Sean Murphy's healthy at some point early in the season, you got 2 really good bats from catchers, and one of them might DH some. I mean, there's a lot of they have a lot of options. They like the flexibility of having it open though, so that's a really good point. DH. I think that was a big thing that they were coming into the off season like this. We want this flexibility. We want this open because we liked Ozuna, but we probably needed some more help. So
I like that.
All right, the Tampa Bay Rays signed Nick Martinez to a 1-year, $13 million deal. Martinez was not very good last year with the Reds. Sorry, 4-letter C word or R word, whatever. But he's just someone who's very serviceable. He's better more as a relief pitcher than a starter. I'm not sure exactly what they plan to do with him. Would signal probably a starter role.
Yeah.
But he's usually better in that swingman type role. So it's going to be interesting to see.
It's the Rays. They don't have starters.
This is such a funny deal because I was thinking about Nick Martinez the other day and I was like, he'd be a nice 7th starter swingman addition for the Colin Ray money, $5-6 million. They doubled up on it. The Rays doubled up on it.
Almost tripled
what I
up
thought
on it.
he was. Yeah, almost tripled up on what I was thinking Nick Martinez was going to get on the open market. So 1, good for Nick Martinez. 2, the Rays spending a lot for what is probably a swingman, 5-6 starter.
Yeah,
okay.
I would have just liked to see that role go to Boyle, right? I've been a big Joe Boyle fan, but I feel like I just would have rather seen that role go to Joe Boyle. You kind of best in last year's starter / reliever, 5th starter, back and forth. You already signed Steven Matz. Kind of was that same thing. Again, it's are you just going to do a bunch of those there?
Piggybacks.
Yeah. Obviously, McClanahan's coming off of a major injury as well. So can he be fully healthy and fit?
I wonder if they decide that, they let Pete Fairbanks go this year. I wonder if they're going to move Joe Boyle to the bullpen as a back end guy because he still struggles to throw strikes.
I mean, you have Jax, you have Ucetta. They have Brian Baker. They got
how the Rays are with the bullpen though. I mean, I think that Joe Boyle's a better fit in the bullpen, and he could be an elite reliever if you put him there. I mean, with his stuff. So
he did a much better job of throwing strikes in AAA last year.
Oh yeah,
minor league. So
he improved in the big leagues too. But
I think it's there.
Still, yeah,
there's a shot.
There's a shot he starts, but I don't think it's enough.
I just think I would have rather seen that from them than just signing Nick Martinez. But hey, what do we know? Next, Eric Fetty returned to the White Sox on a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. It's where he had some success when he first came back before he got traded to the Cardinals. Makes sense to go to the White Sox. It's a cheap deal. They could use some more pitching to go with the guys they have. So it's our free agents deal of Kade Strowd and Blaze Alexander. Yeah, this just makes perfect sense for the money. Good job. All right,
agreed.
Congratulations. An interesting one, Chris Paddock to the Marlins, 1-year, $4 million. Paddock had that success with the Padres. What was that, 2020 or 2021?
It's 2020.
Was it? I thought he had
in the short season.
More of a success, a long-term success at least. But he has not been very good in any of his other stops. But maybe the Marlins are the ones that are able to figure him out. It was 2019, by the way. Right before it. But going to the Marlins, I mean, they're a team, they have Sandy, they have Yuri Perez coming back, they have some other young starters. There's a guy who can maybe fill in for some of those Ryan Weathers innings or stuff you traded away. Edward Cabrera. So it's an interesting one. We'll see if it works out. It's $4 million though.
I like it.
Yeah.
Depth starter. I still like Chris Paddock. The 2019-2020 innings of Chris Paddock are still engraved in my brain. I felt like I was watching the next future ace in Major League Baseball, and he just has never put it together since. But
it's worth a shot. He doesn't walk anybody. I mean, that's good. It's worth a shot.
The strikeout numbers have went down.
They have.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah, but he's had a lot of injuries.
He has. Next one, Jonah Heim signs a 1-year, $1.25 million deal with the Braves. You talked about the Sean Murphy injury that he's dealing with right now. Heim's is a major league deal, which I found was a little bit interesting. He doesn't have options left, I don't believe. So they have to make some decision when Murphy comes back.
Well, I think we earlier were talking about the Braves and the DH spot, and I think the Braves would like to carry 3 catchers for a little while, so they can DH Baldwin or Murphy when they want to. They want that option to be able to do that. So I definitely think that's interesting, and I don't think he was a major league deal. I think it was like a split contract or something.
I thought it was a major league.
So
When I saw it,
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I think it was a split contract. Like, and he gets 1.25 if he's in the majors, but it's not a guaranteed spot. But
Interesting. All right, the Colorado Rockies deciding to double up here on some starting pitching of the oldest variety that they could possibly find of like soft tossers. And Tomoyuki Sugano signs a 1-year, $5.1 million deal. Then they follow that up with signing Jose Quintana to a 1-year, $6 million deal. I just feel like both of these are terrible fits in Coors Field. I am not sure that, like David, you pointed out in our chat, like Sugano might set the home run record given up by a pitcher this year.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
It's bad, but I also think there might be something to getting guys maybe who are maybe not pitch to contact, but like pitch to weak contact. Like Quintana might be better than you think, just because he's able to generate those ground balls. The stuff won't fall off quite so drastically in Coors. Where you've got they're trying to develop Chase Dollander, who throws your 98 with a hammer slider, and it's like every time he plays at home, the stuff ticks down. Yeah. The slider doesn't bite, and he can't get guys out the way he can away from home. And then you bring in a guy like Quintana, whose stuff doesn't move at all at this point in his career. It's not going to change at Coors. So maybe that consistency will be something he can like build on. I mean, Quintana's still been effective these last couple of seasons, more effective than he ever was with the Cubs. But I do think Sugano might give up like 50 home runs this season. Like that one might be a problem. I think Quintana might actually succeed well enough that the Rockies flip him at the deadline.
So Sugano in 157 innings in basically Baltimore is what we're going to say, right? Gave up 33 homers. He had a 15.6 home run to fly ball ratio.
He's gonna get walloped.
Yeah. The one thing that I'll add to this is that David, you made a really good point about Quintana's stuff ticking down. I think if you're ever gonna pick a guy that to pitch in Coors, for the Rockies, my opinion on the whole, how do you find pitchers for Coors thing is find guys whose stuff is least affected by the altitude that do those things really well. You have to find a certain type of guy, and I don't know that Quintana is the type of guy, but I do like that his stuff probably won't tick down that much compared to somebody who has a super high spin rate curveball or slider. Like, Quintana doesn't throw very hard. A lot of his stuff's kind of gravity based. Yeah, I mean, Dollander is a perfect example. Like, if Dollander got traded somewhere else, I would be like, I'm going to pick him up for fantasy because that's a guy that's going to start playing, pitching really well very quickly. But like in Coors, it's just a terrible fit. Mm-hmm. And I think a guy like Quintana, I mean, now Quintana in 2014 probably would have been better for Colorado, but Quintana in 2026 is probably going to get shelled because he gives up a lot of fly balls. But I mean, I think guys who throw really good sinkers and changeups is the biggest one. I think guys who throw really good changeups for Coors are going to be bad because changeups are just going to move more than they do in other spots. So I like that. But we'll see. I mean, I think the Rockies are just adding guys who will throw innings because they desperately need that. I mean, that's the biggest thing for them. Mm-hmm. And if they luck into one having a good half season, they might be able to trade them.
Talking about trading for guys at half seasons, that is Jordan Montgomery, who went back to the place who traded for him in 2023, the Texas Rangers, who he helped go on to win the World Series there. He got injured in 2024 after signing that deal with Arizona, ended up getting traded to Milwaukee, missing all of 2025. I think he's still going to miss some time, I believe, to start the season. Mm-hmm. But he had success there in Texas. That Texas has turned into more of a pitcher's ballpark now, and it's a 1-year, $1.2 million deal, very cheap. If he returns to even a semblance of his old self a little bit, it's going to be a very sneaky good rotation there with DeGrom, Eovaldi doing what he did last year, and Montgomery, and then the young guys of Leiter and Rocker who have showed their potential at times. And then Jacob Latz even has showed some stuff there. So, David, what do you think about Montgomery going back to the Rangers?
It's a good move. Like it. Good fit. It's where he found success. Mike Maddox isn't there anymore. As we mentioned, I think that's going to be a big point. I think the Angels are going to take a step forward in terms of pitching. Rangers, I mean, like you mentioned, right? The Rangers have a pretty good staff. I think the Rangers do not take a step back.
Yeah.
But I do think that having Jacob deGrom does a lot for you. So
and Gore.
He doesn't.
And
Mackenzie Gore too.
yeah.
So I think that Montgomery is a great, nice, soft falling spot. He can slot in 5-starter. Feel pretty confident that he'll give you whatever innings he gives you will be better than the ones he gave Arizona. I think that's pretty safe to assume.
Yeah, I agree. It's worth a shot. He was really good in 2023. It's not that long ago, at least in innings that he's thrown, because he got injured in 2024, didn't pitch last year. I think it's definitely and remember 2024 he signed super late too, which he delayed the start of a season and he didn't get to normal. That has been a death knell for a lot of pitchers over the last several years with this kind of trend of some guys waiting till right before opening day to sign.
Yeah,
it's worth it. This is worth a shot for sure.
That's why it's a good thing we're going through so many names, because a lot of these pitchers have signed to get into camp, get into their throwing program with their new team. That's why I was significantly worried about Gallen. If I was worried about anybody that we talked about today, because if Gallen being pinned with that QO, like he might have had to sit out a long time unless he was able to work that deal out there.
Who was that? Didn't like Kyle Loesch do something like that or whatever? He like sat out to like after the draft and then signed.
Yeah,
Craig Kimbrell did too.
Yeah, Craig Kimbrell did. Yeah.
Well, great segue that you said Craig Kimbrell, because that leads me right into his stint with the Dodgers, which was something. But the Dodgers signed Evan Phillips and Kike Hernandez to return. Both guys are expected to miss a decent, Kike is probably until May or June. Evan Phillips is probably after the deadline, maybe August with his like Tommy John surgery. So pretty simple deals. Phillips got 1 year, 6.5. Kike got 1 year, 4.5.
They're paying Kike for the playoffs anyway. Like that's all they need him for.
They're paying him for the vibes. That's all it is. Paying him for the vibes.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot to say here. That money's nothing to the Dodgers. Why not? Might as well.
No.
Sure.
It was. You knew they were both going back. Like it was pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know about Phillips, but I knew Kike would be back if he was going to play this year.
Yeah. All right. The Nats signed Miles Mikolas to a 1 year, $2.25 million deal. I guess they had an open spot from trading Mackenzie Gore, so get Miles Mikolas. Now, if there was something that the Rockies should have done, it's just signed Miles Mikolas.
No.
To go
because
with
Miles Mikolas needs to face the Cubs on the opening weekend when the Cubs face the Nationals. I love watching Miles Mikolas pitch because that guy throws pure batting practice, and he is horrible. But you're right. He would have been right up there with Sugano for worst fit in Coors. He gives up a real loud contact a lot of the time.
The Nationals pitching staff is terrible, and I don't think it got better, but they got somebody who will throw a lot of innings. So that's kind of all they need because they're going to be bad this year. And
I wonder if Patrick Corbin is on his way over to Washington to return.
I don't think Patrick Corbin is ever going to speak to Washington again. I think he's done with Washington.
Patrick Corbin's going to sign with the Angels.
He's still a free agent, I think. It's not a terrible fit. The Angels and Corbin are not a terrible, terrible combo.
Yeah.
Patrick Corbin to the Rockies.
He was good last year. He was super good last year. He had a rebound season. It was maybe because of Texas, but hey.
Eventually. If you get him back with Mike Maddox, though, who knows? All right, Chris Bassett signed with the Baltimore Orioles on a 1 year, $18.5 million deal. I mean, we talked about the Orioles needing to sign starting pitching. We thought it was probably going to be more of a front-end guy. Like, we thought they were in on Ranger Suarez. We thought they were in on Framber Valdez. Thought they should be in on Zach Gallen. Didn't really pan out that way. They traded for Shane Baz and then signed Chris Bassett to be there. Bassett's going to be kind of fine. But I just feel like they're missing a little bit of that extra for what they need this year.
Yeah, 100%. I like Bassett. I like Bassett a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's still got plenty of juice in the tank. He got a lot of whiff last year compared to how he kind of had been previously. But the Blue Jays had moved him to the bullpen late in the season. I thought he was really ideal. He's another guy similar to Nick Martinez that get him in the swing role. You get 15 really good starts out of him, and then get other innings out of him out of the bullpen elsewhere as needed. But paying him 18.5, I mean, that's firmly a 3-starter probably for the Orioles. So, I like Bassett. I don't know if I like him that much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bassett's a super consistent pitcher who's been solid for about 5 years in a row, 6 years in a row now. And I mean, he's put up every single year between a 2 and 3 WAR, just about. Like he's a solid number 4, number 3 pitcher. And I think it's a good deal considering the price that is getting paid for pitching right now. I mean, I'm kind of upset the Braves didn't sign him. I think Alex Anthopoulos might be taking some melatonin or something right now, but
think he thinks Schwellenbach is still going?
He probably hadn't woke up to hear the news.
Yeah.
And the Giolito's on his way to Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's logical.
He very well might be.
That's super logical. Yeah.
All right. So when we were talking about the Brewers earlier, you said they hadn't signed anyone. They did sign Luis Rengifo to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. And then they also signed Gary Sanchez, I think, to return, right? He was there before.
Yeah, he had a great stint there, I think.
Yeah, to a 1-year, $1.75 million deal. Give him a little bit of insurance behind William, I would guess.
Yes.
And then some DH time for him. But
yeah,
these are Brewers types moves.
I don't like him. We'll see. I mean, Rengifo was not particularly good defensively the last year specifically. I think what he was kind of lauded as a utility guy where he kind of plays every position but doesn't play any of them well. Yeah, is kind of the utility guy he is. And I don't, that's not very Brewersy. He also whiffs a lot, right? He doesn't make a ton of contact. I don't know. Seems a little bit not Brewers type move here. I don't know. This one doesn't vibe with me, but he'll probably be a demon against the Cubs. Yeah, that means he'd probably be a demon against the Cubs, hit 4 home runs in a game or something.
I mean, they're familiar with him, and he's a backup catcher. I mean,
Gary.
And William Contreras is going to play almost every day too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Gary's fine. I'm talking about Rengifo specifically.
Oh, Rengifo. I'm sorry. Yeah. Rengifo's.
Gary is not a utility player.
No. Sorry, Rengifo's a kind of weird fit there. I agree.
Gary is a very valid backup catcher. I don't have any problem with that, but he doesn't strike fear in anybody's heart at this point either. So,
the Padres have made a ton of moves now that spring training has started. So first we should talk about Nick Castellanos got released from the Philadelphia Phillies and his $20 million salary. There was a big spectacle and blow up there about him having a beer in the 8th inning after he was taken out in Miami at one point.
Man, drink a cold beer. Come on now.
Yeah, you pulled him from the game. Like
I'm saying, we need more. We need more of that in baseball, not less.
Yeah.
Put Wade Boggs in the dugout with him.
Put Pete Rose in there too, right? Anyway, so Nick Castellanos signed with the Padres on a basically league minimum whatever deal, since he's getting that $20 million. Then they also signed Griffin Canning and Herman Marquez as pitching depth options there for them. I think Canning's going to miss the beginning of the season, I want to say. Marquez will be there. And then they also signed Ty France to a minor league deal to be some maybe first base option there. Signed Miguel Andujar to a 1-year, $4 million deal to potentially play some outfield/DH for them. And then the biggest news of them all, they signed it to AJ Preller to a extension there.
Yes.
So the madness continues there. I was telling Matt right before the show, I was reading something about how they were talking about Preller just thinks he's going to continually redo the prospects and stuff, and how they were deep in conversations to trade Ethan Salas and Cruz Schoolcraft this deadline, and it didn't materialize, or maybe even this offseason. So that guy's just a madman.
A madman. Absolute madman.
He will continue going on there with the Padres. So big chunk of news there. But Matt, what do you think of it all for the Padres?
Well, I mean, Nick Castellanos, I guess it's worth a shot as a DH / bench guy. I don't think there's too much value left there, but Let's get Tom Brenneman in the broadcast booth, make things entertaining. And I'm praying for the citizens of San Diego because something bad's probably about to happen. Yeah, Griffin Canning was pretty good last year, but as you mentioned, he got injured. I don't think he's great. He's got a lot of ground balls last year. That was nice to see. It was different from kind of an improvement from his past. I think Ty France is really interesting. I think it's time to revisit the trade that sent Ty France to the Mariners, which the Padres, especially tied into the Preller thing, the Padres acquired Austin Nola for Ty France and Andres Munoz, and at the time a top prospect in Taylor Trammell. That was one of the dumbest trades I've ever seen.
Look, Preller shoots like a shotgun, right? He's going to get a huge spread. They're not all going to hit.
Yeah, that very well might have been one of the dumbest trades I've ever seen.
Oh, it's horrible. Not like anybody.
They got it back. He's there now.
Not like anybody besides Munoz really was super significant in that deal, but yeah,
not really. But I mean, do you think the Padres would like to have kept Leo DeVries and not had to trade for Mason Miller last year?
Yeah, the Padres probably would have still traded Leo DeVries. What are we talking about?
Well, they could have traded him for not for a closer.
Would have traded him for like Steven Kwan.
Yeah, they would have traded him for something else. I love getting Nick Castellanos into the locker room with Tatis, Machado, Bogarts, Merrill. I think it's a great fit. I don't know how much he's going to play, but I love the fit there. I think he's going to have some big moments as a San Diego Padre, and you buried the lead on this one, man. I've been thinking German Marquez needs to get the hell out of Colorado for the better part of the last 5 seasons. He's finally out. No one's expecting anything from him. I think German Marquez is about to have a nice little, recovery season and really put his name back on the map in the Padres rotation. If he can stay healthy, that's the big question for me. But the stuff has always been good for German Marquez.
It's backed up recently. That's part of the problem.
That's what I was going to say. Like his velo was way down after the injuries. And I'm interested to see he pitched 126 innings last year. So he did throw some. I'm interested to see if, that full off season of health coming in into a new organization, if that can tick back up some, because he's still, he's only 31 years old. He's been good in the past. Like even in Colorado, he put up pretty good numbers a couple of years. Like he had a great year in 2020 in the shortened season. He was great. 2018 he was awesome in Colorado. So he's been a good pitcher at times. It's just a matter of getting stuff back and not pitching in Colorado.
Yeah, he was actually worse on the road last year than he was in Colorado. He had a 5.98 ERA at home and a 7.32 on the road.
I'll never stop believing in German Marquez.
I was going to say the 7.32 might be attributed by his 7 runs given up in like 2/3 of an innings against LA, but
he's going to have to face them again.
Yeah.
He didn't leave him. He's still right there.
But we'll see what goes on there. So a real dump of just minor league deals that we'll just mention. You guys can say 1 or 2 that you guys like. We talked about Jamie Candelario. Gio Urshela went to the Twins on a minor league deal. Kyle Wright went to the Cubs on a minor league deal. Liam Hendrick to the Twins. Nate Lowe to the Reds. Shelby Miller to the Cubs on a 2-year deal. And then John Means to the Royals on a 2-year deal as well.
I mean, I like Kyle Wright quite a lot. I think that's a smart move. Matt's obviously a little even more familiar with Kyle Wright than I am, but obviously after the injuries, he hasn't nearly been as effective. But I think he starts in Iowa, and you see what happens. The Cubs have managed to turn around struggling former starters the last couple of seasons pretty well. So I think he's in the right spot. And then I like the John Means and the Shelby Miller deals. Also, I think paying guys the extra year, guaranteeing them that second year to spend the season not worrying about where they're going to play after the fact and recovering in your organization is a big deal for some veteran guys like this. Means he's a couple. What is he? 2 Tommy Johns in a row. He basically got hurt coming back. That's a tough one, but at least he's signed. At least he's not worried about that. Shelby Miller gets all the way back next season. Could be a pretty cheap deal for a good reliever. So I like those types of deals quite a lot.
I want to make sure. I might have put that in there wrong. Did Means have Tommy John, or did he blow out his Achilles?
He did something. I can't remember. It might have been. It might have been something other than the elbow.
I put the Tommy John, but I wasn't sure.
Canning was the Achilles. I don't know if you're thinking of that, but
I know Means did do his Achilles at one point.
Okay. But I'll chime in real quick while you're searching for that. I agree with you on Kyle Wright. I actually think Shelby Miller's kind of a good comp for Kyle Wright in his career path, which is kind of funny since they got Shelby Miller too. But I think that could be something that he gets back to the big leagues and turns into a solid reliever. And I'd also want to shout out Liam Hendricks because I always pull for Liam Hendricks, and I hope he is able to make the big league roster and have a good season this year.
Yep.
So it was his Achilles, and it was, I think, in like one of his first bullpens back this offseason. It was in December that John Means ruptures Achilles after coming back from Tommy John, missing the whole year before from Tommy John, sir. So he was just getting back on the mound, and then that happened. So yeah, that's what that is. All right, so now we have like news dump stuff to go through. We can get through this pretty quick. Zach Wheeler will not be ready for opening day, but he hopes to be back soon after. Obviously, he dealt with that like thoracic outlet syndrome, blood clot, whatever it was, where he had to have like his clavicle removed, part of his rib, which he says is in his closet still, which I think is weird. But hey, there's that.
Philly's team is weird, dude.
Yeah, they are.
It's Kyle Schwarber and a bunch of weirdos.
Maybe Bryce Harper.
Kyle Schwarber's a weirdo too.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a demon.
Maybe maybe Bryce Harper can give Zach Wheeler some health tips.
I'm just glad Zach Wheeler is even like coming back. I was significantly concerned he wasn't even going to come back.
Yeah.
I hope that the stuff is still there and he's not affected.
And that's what I was going to say. I hope the stuff comes back because we've seen guys return from thoracic outlet syndrome all the time, and it's very rare that they've been as effective as they were before they had it.
Was it TOS?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
okay.
it was.
It was initially diagnosed as a blood clot, and then they went in and did more, investigation, and it was TOS.
Yeah. Braves now. They have dealt with a plethora of injuries. So Hurston Waldrop is dealing with some stuff. Spencer Schwellenbach had elbow inflammation. I think he's already been placed on the 60-day IL, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And then obviously Hassan Kim got hurt. He's hopeful to return in early May.
Yeah, so the Schwellenbach thing really sucks. The good news is it sounds like his UCL is intact. He doesn't have any structural damage, but there might have been some loose bodies. He had a fractured elbow last year, so I think there might be some cleanup that has to be done with that. They're trying to determine if he needs to have surgery for it or not. And it sounds like he's going to be out for at least a couple months at the very least. And then Waldrop, that really sucks. The Braves, it's been talked about all offseason. The Braves need to add a starting pitcher, and they still haven't. And I know that there's talk about Lucas Giolito maybe. I think they absolutely have to get that done or trade for somebody, because right now, if you told me coming into the offseason that Bryce Elder would be in the opening day rotation, I would have been like, there's no way. There's no way. And I just don't see, if you're serious about trying to contend again, I just have no idea how you don't come into the season with another starting pitcher. And I know that people point to that TV thing, the TV deal. That's something that's been known since like 2 years ago, that you might have to deal with that. So why are we not prioritizing getting a starter over getting paying $20 million for Raisel Iglesias? I love Raisel Iglesias. They needed bullpen help too, but I just don't. That's what I don't understand. So maybe they'll add Giolito and go into the season with decent enough options, and then Schwellenbach comes back and does really well. But I don't feel great about it right now, especially with last year Ronaldo Lopez had a bad year,
Yeah. He was hurt all year.
injury-wise. Yeah, he's hurt all year, and his stuff didn't look good in the spring either. And apparently, he's come to camp throwing 91. Like, you know, Spencer Strider needs to have a bounce back. He came back from his injuries, and I think the full offseason is really going to help him more than any other. It would help any other player with the way that just kind of the way he is. But and then Chris Sale always has some weird, bizarre injury every year that's not related to him just being fragile, but just like something weird. So he either he crashes his bike and breaks a rib, or he dives the first base getting a complete game shutout and breaks his rib, or it usually has to do with his rib. So I think
so you should do the Zach Wheeler route and just have it removed.
Just take them all out. Yeah, he can just be like the last man or something.
Yeah. So it's Martin Perez and Carlos Carrasco to the rescue for you, Matt. That's what you get.
Yeah, I don't think we got Carlos Carrasco, but
yeah, he's on a non-roster invite. It says.
I thought he was somewhere else.
I'm looking at the Braves page right now.
Oh well, I didn't even know it.
Congratulations!
So that is how much I believe in Carlos Carrasco is. I didn't even know he was on the Braves, and I could probably typically name you the entire Braves 40-man roster, and I did not know that Carlos. Well, he's probably not on the 40-man.
He's a non-roster invite.
Yeah,
that's rough, but.
All right, so let's go to the Toronto Blue Jays now, where Anthony Santander ended up having to get labrum surgery. He's out 5 to 6 months. This is where you saw them trade for Jesus Sanchez, basically right after this news. And then Shane Bieber has some forearm fatigue. He will not be ready for opening day. He was one of those interesting cases. Remember, he picked up that player option. Everyone's like, well, why did you pick up this player option? Like, it doesn't make sense to go out to the market. This might tell you that he was still dealing with some stuff there. So those are, Santander is obviously a big loss, but you didn't really have him much of last year anyways. Bieber was expected to be a big part of that rotation this year. So hopefully he doesn't miss too much time there after opening day, though.
Yeah, Santander, I didn't really love that signing when they made it, and it seems to have not worked out so far, but hopefully he gets back. I guess, will he be back by the end of 5 months?
It was 5-6 months from January, so
okay, it'll be June, July.
July.
Yeah, I think it could be back by August. So, maybe he can come back and do well. Labrums are tough though. That could be a real problem. And
him being a switch hitter, like that means he's still going to have to. That's going to be his lead shoulder on one of the sides.
Yeah,
which is very hard. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back only hitting one side. Maybe
that's possible. And then Shane Bieber, anytime you hear the words forearm fatigue or forearm soreness or something, that's usually not a good sign. I'm very hopeful that Shane Bieber is okay and is, comes back early in the season, but that's something to kind of keep an eye on over the next few weeks.
Yeah. That's why they got so aggressive and signed Cody Ponce and Cease early in the offseason also. They went and they knew Bieber was going to be technically a hole in the rotation, and they had probably 3 other spots kind of well filled. But now it seems like they have depth and can weather this storm for the Blue Jays, and I do like that. So
so we should talk about this earlier when we were talking about all the Tigers moves. So we can just kind of quickly go by this one. Reese Olson is out for the year with shoulder surgery. He was really good for them last year. So that one really sucks. He was kind of on the verge of a breakout, but they already filled those holes, with the Framber and Verlander deals with and that. So we'll move past that one. The Astros, Josh Hader's dealing with some bicep inflammation. Opening day is in serious doubt at the moment. No one's really sure what that's going to be like. And then Eniel De Los Santos has a knee strain as well for them. So that bullpen has already kind of taken 2 big hits there for the Astros.
Yeah. I don't think the Astros is going to be very good this year. Yeah. So
it doesn't help when one of your best bullpen arms is out. But I mean, Brian Abreu is a natural closer stand-in for Hader as needed, and then we'll see if he can get back. As long as that that inflammation doesn't yield something more serious as an arm injury and is just warming up. He's just going to miss the first month, maybe. That's okay, but yeah.
All right, so we talked about the hamate bone injuries earlier. Corbin Carroll has a hamate bone injury. He will. I think they said he's going to miss opening day, or again, it's going to be pretty close there, which also knocks him out of the World Baseball Classic. Red Sox outfielder Roman Anthony has been announced as his replacement there. Jackson Holliday also has a hamate bone injury, won't be ready for opening day. And then Jordan Westberg also has an oblique strain for the Orioles. Opening day is also in doubt at that moment. So this is where we're getting all those, hey, come to spring training and everyone's injured. Hamate bones this year have been a killer already. Yeah. I think that's what, 4? I think 3 or 4.
Carroll, Holiday. I think it's like 3, but
okay.
I'm sure they'll add a Brave to that list here soon.
Spencer Strider hurt his hamate bone pitching.
Yes. No, Spencer Strider was taking left-handed batting practice and hurt his right hamate bone.
It's one of those things where the issue for the hamate bone isn't even necessarily the time off, but it's also that your power is typically affected. While you're still transitioning back into hitting after having the hamate bone surgery to remove it, because you don't have the the bat sits in the palm of your hand right here. Well, when the hamate bone breaks, that same pressure point where you're twisting your hand to get that power, you have to mess with it. You have to adjust how you hold the bat, and a lot of guys don't get back to the power that they had before the hamate bone injury.
I'm still surprised so many people don't use a different bat outside of the regular knob bat. Like the axe bat or the node knob bat or the bigger flared one, just something outside of that, the standard one, because that seems you always have the injuries with just that one. You don't see guys who use the other ones have it that much. So, all right, last little piece of news. Max Muncy signed an extension with LA for $7 million in 2027. There's a $10 million club option for 2028 with a $3 million buyout. So basically $7 million decision for 2028 as well. Gives him a chance to retire in LA. Took him less than market deal to stay there.
Max Muncy might have the worst negotiator in the history of the world.
I think Ozzy Albies and Ronald Acuna still do.
Ozzy Albies? Yeah, that was bad. But I mean, the Braves weren't paying a gazillion dollars to everybody. Yeah, the Dodgers are literally paying like $20 million for relievers, $25 million for relievers. So Max Muncy, who's a really good player still, good third baseman, is signing extensions for $7 million a year. I know he's older, but he could have, if he had gone to the open market, the Dodgers probably would have given him $20 million. So it's just a terrible negotiation tactic.
Max Muncy might be the most underpaid career player. Of about anybody. Jose Ramirez is up there, but this latest extension kind of helps him out.
I mean, you have to think this is a guy who was out of baseball at one point. So
I understand having brand loyalty, but at least make your team pay a little more. I think a lot of Dodgers, and everybody would have been comfortable doubling this deal. If it was 2 for $28, are you upset for Muncy down the way? No, right? I'd fine with that. 14 a year for a pretty good third baseman who still hits for a lot of power. Yeah. Done. How is this not double what it is? That's where I'm at. He's getting underpaid right now by the Dodgers, which is wild.
Hey, shout out to Max Muncy. Gotta keep it frugal over here, all right?
Ohtani's getting underpaid too right now. Till the deferrals start coming in, then he'll be getting paid properly. But
Hub Baseball Hub Athletes is his agency,
right?
Which is not Scott Boras or.
Who is that? I don't think anyone's ever heard of that place.
I don't know that they've got another MLB player.
That might just be Andrew Friedman.
It probably is.
Max, you're back on board for $7 million next year. What? Okay.
I negotiated with myself in the mirror this morning. This is what you're getting.
Is the agent.
Oh, y'all remember when the Mets had an agent as the owner?
No, it was the GM.
There's the GM. Yeah.
Brody Van Wagenen.
Yeah.
Good times.
They should not be doing that.
No, not at all.
So, alrighty. Well, that is going to wrap up this show. Like we mentioned, spring training is back. Games will start this weekend. Baseball is finally back. It's fun. We should not have any big more news dump episodes like this. So hopefully you get better content here in the next few weeks from us. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you guys back next week.